AVC Sports presents high school basketball. Tonight's game is brought to you by Doan Ford, patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green Insurance, West 40 Auto Sales, Woodsfield Savings Bank, and Valentine Insurance.
Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Friday night MVL basketball from the power plant at Philo High School. Tonight, it's the Muskies of John Glenn taking on these Philo Electrics, Howard Twiggs, and good buddy Mike Snively here helping us along the way. And Mike, these two teams played earlier in the year at John Glenn, December 16th. The Muskies came away big that night, 87-58. What have both teams done since that point?
Well, Philo's definitely improved in that time span. They've had a tough road after that, Philo playing in the big school division of the MVL. John Glenn looking for that identity, doing a little bit better, finding that identity. What they do best, Howard, is force turnovers, and we got to see them force a bunch the other night against Meadowbrook, and I think that's going to be the key tonight. Can John Glenn force Philo into the same amount of turnovers they did the previous game in December, or can Philo take care of the ball better tonight?
In that game that Mike is referencing, Philo had 21 turnovers, and that in itself tells you that you're just not going to get it done with that many. So great point by Mike on that. When you look at Coach Jason Trout for the Electrics, Mike, 4-11 on the season, 4-7 in the MVL, but pretty decent at home, 3-4, 1-7 on the road. So maybe the home advantage tonight for the Electrics?
I think so. It's a little different type of gym. The lighting's really bright. There's a big backdrop from the basket behind the glass to the wall, and then you have a high ceiling. So I think it's just a tougher place to play. There's a nice crowd here tonight. We got to see two pretty good games already before this. So we're going to have probably, about a 7:40 tip tonight.
Yep, here in about, I'd say less than 10 minutes. Speaking of those earlier games, the freshmen played. John Glenn came away the victor 52-35. And then the just completed JV game, the Muskies also won that one 42-23. For the Muskies, coached by Eric Scheck, as we said, 9-7 on the season, 7-3 in the MVL. Both teams have played some common opponents. They have both defeated Morgan, Crooksville, and Meadowbrook, and they have both lost to Tri-Valley, Sheridan, Maysville, and then out of league play, both teams have been defeated by Marietta. So, Mike, when you look at what can you learn from facing somebody else who beat you, or beat your opponent, I should say, in this game?
Well, I don't know what you can learn from that, but I know you got the film to look at from the previous games. And the league is kind of split big time. You notice like there's 3 or 4 really good teams that stick out in that small school division, and there's 3 or 4 right now that's sticking out in the big school division. It seems, Howard, there's kind of like a drop-off. John Glenn's kind of like right in that middle. I feel like right in the middle of the big school. They're battle-tested. They've got a winning record. They played a tough schedule. And interesting, I just want to throw this point out here. John Glenn played Garraway. Garraway's one of the better D3 teams in the state. John Glenn loses by 21 points but then beats Indian Valley. Indian Valley turns around and beats Garraway. So it's just hard to understand some of these scores with basketball. And when you're dealing with 16 and 17 and 18-year-old high school kids, you just never know what you're going to get. And I'll tell you right now, Philo's going to come out there, Howard, and they're just going to shoot it. They're going to take bad shots, but I think that's how they play. They want to play a little helter-skelter, and sometimes those shots have been going in for them this year, and it kind of gets them on a roll, and they're led by Cade Searles, who he's going to come down and shoot 25-footers, and he's going to make a few, and if he gets hot, anything can happen.
When you look up and down this Philo roster, it's made up predominantly of football players.
Yes, absolutely.
Demetrius Strictly, Drew Wright, Cade Searles, as Mike mentioned, Talon Preston. They're all football players. So, you've got to expect they're going to be athletic.
Right.
They're going to be. These guys won. I'm looking for Philo to maybe have a little bit of an attitude tonight.
I think so, and they're playing with a little more confidence. This is a team that's only won 1 or 2 games per season for the last couple years. They're at 4 right now, so they've kind of doubled that win total for the season They're gaining a little confidence under Coach Trout. But they still have to take care of the basketball tonight, and in my opinion, take a little bit better shots, but maybe that's their mojo. I remember old Loyola Marymount used to come down and just chuck it from anywhere, and that's what they did.
Well, there's that old saying, if you don't shoot it, you're not going to score.
Right.
Yeah, so here again, though, you got to make some. Offensively for the Electrics, they average 55 points a game and surrender 66. For John Glenn, they average just 60 points a game, but give up only 52. So that 60 points a game, Mike, kind of interests me. Here's an up and down, fast tempo, run the whole floor, press, get it going, but yet they only average 60 points a game. What's up with that?
Interesting. That's a good point. The games that I have attended this year, and they've both been around that 60-point range, or the few games that I've been to this year, they've both been around that 60 points a game. It just seems to me sometimes they don't convert on a turnover. They'll get a pretty good break, and the other night, for example, against Meadowbrook, I thought they probably could have scored 100, but they missed a couple bunnies here and there. They're not making the easier shots that they should make. What they do, they get hot from three, and when they get hot from three, they stay behind there. A couple guys got the green light. One thing they have struggled with, though, is when they're not hot, they stay back there and continue to shoot it instead of getting inside. And they have Mr. Larrick inside, who's been a pretty good post presence for the John Glenn Muskies.
Yeah, Caleb Larrick averages 8.5 points per game and 5 rebounds. But the guy who really sets it up for the Muskies is Nathan Walker.
No doubt.
Leads the team in scoring at 16 a game, rebounds at 5.5 a game, also assists at 4 per game. And by the way, Caleb Larrick also at 5, as we mentioned, and 8.5 points per game. So, this is a team that will go as far as Nathan Walker's going to take them tonight.
Yeah, Walker's going to be the best player on the court. He's going to be the best athlete on the court. In my opinion, he's a college basketball player. But he goes, as go the Muskies. He can get a little inside game going in, and if he gets that outside game going in, he's going to be hard to stop. Bexley Woodard's had been shooting the ball really well from three-point range. And Caden Walls kind of bringing back that old inside the three-point line 15-foot jumper. He's been knocking that down a lot lately.
Yeah, the mid-range jumper that kind of seems to be forgotten in some circles. In that earlier game, speaking of Bexley Woodard, he led the team in scoring that night in December when they beat Philo 87-58. He had 19, Walker 17, Larrick 11, Caden Walls had 10, and Noah Winland just missed doubles. He had 9. So that was a balanced scoring night that night. Would you expect kind of the same thing?
I do. I've seen it all year from John Glenn. They're going to play 9, 10 guys. They're going to pick the pressure up. They sometimes sub 2, 3 at a time, keep those legs fresh, and I wouldn't anticipate anything different from Coach Scheck tonight.
You're listening to high school basketball here on NASH Icon. Howard Twiggs and Mike Snively here at the power plant, where tonight it is the John Glenn Muskies. They are 9-7 on the season, 7-3 in MVL play. And they are being hosted by Coach Jason Trout's 4-11 Electrics, 4-7 in MVL play. And the John Glenn Muskies will be in their traveling maroon uniforms with white numerals and trim. Philo in the white uniform with some navy or royal blue gold numerals. And we are going to begin the basketball game, in just a couple, 3 minutes. So once again, tonight here on NASH Icon, it is Philo hosting John Glenn. We'll take a break, we'll come back, and we'll have the starting lineup. So
do you really think that an insurance company who promises quotes in a few minutes has your best interest in mind? Do they really know you and what coverages you need? Hi, this is John Valentine with Valentine Insurance. We take time to learn about you and your insurance needs so you can feel comfortable that you're receiving the right coverages at the best possible prices. Find us on Facebook, stop by our office, or give us a call at 994-1776. Valentine Insurance, a partner you can depend on.
Confession, I'm a hopeless romantic, and I love a deal. I just went to Kohl's and earned Kohl's Cash, plus got an extra 15% off already great deals, like 60% off a necklace for my mom and 40% off PJs for my daughter. Not to mention, I found myself a fragrance set from Sephora at Kohl's for less than $50. With more gifts and more savings, what's not to love? Select styles. Offers end January 29th. Sephora, coupons, and Kohl's Cash do not apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
I was sitting in my car and it wouldn't start. I lifted the hood and the engine was falling apart. What would I do? My eyes filled with tears. Then on the radio I heard of West 40 by Pay here, where for a little money down and a little each week, I could have a car, nice, shiny, and sleek. So I walked in the door and I put the money down. Now I got a nice car that I can drive around. West 40 by Pay here will help rebuild your credit. The corner of Dewey and Route 40 in Cambridge, don't you forget it.
West 40 Auto Sales, corner of Route 40 and Dewey Avenue in Cambridge, is home of the guaranteed credit approval, with most loans approved while you wait. Go to their website to fill out an online loan application, west40autosales.com. You'll also find their weekly special listed there.
Our community is a special place, and you work hard to make a living and build a good life for you and your family. It's not always easy. You deserve a local financial partner to be there when you need them most. At Woodsfield Savings Bank, we live, work, and play here. Our cutting-edge technology combined with local decision-making allows us to deliver unmatched personal service. Let us start earning your trust today. Woodsfield Savings Bank. It's personal here.
Now located at 16050 McConnellsville Road in Caldwell, Ohio. Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance Company is a mutual insurance company established in 1896 for the purpose of providing insurance coverage to rural Ohio. They offer a product to meet your insurance need, whether it is for a farm, rental dwelling, home in town, secondary or seasonal dwelling, churches, or mobile home. They partner with Grinnell Mutual Insurance Company to offer liability coverage to package with their patrons Buckeye Mutual policy. Call today at 638-3604 and follow them on Facebook at Patrons Buckeye.
Welcome back, everyone. Howard Twiggs and Mike Snively here at the power plant where John Glenn is set to battle these homestanding Electrics. Starting lineups first for John Glenn. They will go with 6'6" junior Caleb Larrick, 6' senior Caden Walls, 6'3" senior Nathan Walker, 6'3" senior Bexley Woodard, and 5'7" sophomore Will Nikolazakis. We should also expect to see a lot of Noah Winland tonight, as well as Lane Hall, C.J. Dolan, and maybe a couple of other guys for the Muskies.
Yeah, you'll see Steele Bates, the freshman, will be coming off the bench, and Nelson Cameron will be also getting a lot of PT tonight.
For the Electrics, they will go with Cade Searles, a 5'10" senior, Demetrius Strickland, a 6'2" senior, Cooper Radcliffe, a 5'11" sophomore, Talon Preston, a 6' sophomore, and Wesley Wilson, a 6' senior. We also expect to see Drew Wright tonight off the bench, as well as Clayton Peterson for the Electric. So the tip-off probably in the next minute or so, and Mike, you would expect John Glenn to be in the man, the full court pressure?
Full court pressure man, all the way, run and jump pressure. Philo's got to take care of the basketball, get the ball across the court, get the ball to the middle of the court, and do the small things you need to take care of. It's hard to believe, Howard. John Glenn's in game 17. Game 17 already, and I believe Philo's in game 15 already.
16, they're 4-11.
Yeah, so it's just amazing. We're almost the end of January. We're going to be talking tournament drawings here in a couple of weeks already. Is this how it works? You get older and it just goes by faster? I don't even know, Howard. I mean,
but are you suggesting here, my friend, that something about my age is an issue?
Well, you seem to have a little bit more experience with it than me. Now, what we got, Howard, now we got the lights off. We got the spotlight on the starters for Philo. We just don't have the music to go with it.
Well, maybe this is a kind of to get the crowd pumped up where they have the spotlight, but they need some kind of theme song to go with that.
Here it comes. I hear the song now. I believe it might be an AC/DC song, but we do have I believe it's Thunderstruck. We have the students lined up, and it looks like the youth basketball program lined up along the sideline and baseline, getting high fives from the Philo starters.
By the way, one correction. I believe that Drew Wright is starting for Philo. At least he was introduced as such, so we will find out. He was not listed as one of the starters on the board. However, he was announced as a starter, so hopefully we can get that smoothed out and start the basketball game with the scorebook being correct.
33 is starting it, but the scoreboard is not correct.
Jumping for Philo will be Demetrius Strickland, and for the Muskies,
Wesley Wilson is not starting. That's who it is, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Philo going left to right along your radio dial. They win the tip, and they control the ball with Cooper Radcliffe. He is being guarded in the half-court man, being very handsy are the Muskies on defense. Drive inside, knocked around, knocked out of bounds. It stays with Philo. Excellent pressure defense that time by Caden Walls. So that's a matchup to watch the rest of the night. Cooper Radcliffe and Walls.
Caden Walls, one of the better perimeter defenders in the Muskingum Valley League.
Inbounds, back on top for the Electrics. They hold with Cade Searles. Searles drives in, then kicks to the corner. Long ball on the way, no good. Rebounded off two. That was right, by the way. Rebounded off to the Muskies. They will drive inside and then kick. Long ball on the way for John Glenn. It's good. That's a bomb. That's Will Nikolazakis, the sophomore, and then steals the inbounds pass, does Nikolazakis, and then back to the corner. Another long shot on the way for John Glenn, and no good by Walker. Rebound on the floor, whistle, and we will get the ball being knocked out of bounds by John Glenn. Back to Philo. It is a 3-0 opening minute of the first quarter. And John Glenn sellout press. Philo wide open layup down the floor. They make him pay with Talon Preston.
I believe it's some kind of miscommunication there by the John Glenn press.
Philo in the man. John Glenn, Nikolazakis on the top. Long shot on the way and no good by John Glenn, but a foul on the floor. And I think Cade Walls is going to get 3 free throws.
He's definitely going to get 3. He was about behind the line 3 or 4 feet, so he's definitely going to get it.
That's going to be on Drew Wright. That's his first, team's first, and 3 free throws coming for Caden Walls, the 6-foot senior. First one's good. 2 more coming.
Walls shooting 60% at the line this year.
Second one's good.
So, according to percentages, he's going to miss this one. Is that correct? 2 of 3, 66%.
I'm gonna give it to him. He's got a nice stroke, nice rhythm going. Yep, there you go. Thank you. Way to go, Mike.
I didn't mean to jinx Kate.
His mom is going to be.
Did not mean to jinx Kate.
Yeah, you better talk to his mom then. Philo with the basketball. They trail 5-2. Drive inside, then another kick. It's Strickland in the corner. Off the iron, no good. Rebounded off to the Muskies, Bexley Woodard, and he will throw ahead. And then inside for Larrick. Larrick tries to muscle his way in, up and under, good.
Larrick's getting better and better and better. Great footwork for a big man.
7-2, another steal off the inbounds pass by John Glenn. 3 ball on the way is good.
Look good all the way from here, Howard.
That's Bexley Woodard, and a timeout for Philo with the score 10-2. It's going to be a 30-second break, so let's catch our breath here. 6:15 of the first quarter, 10-2, and this is exactly the start John Glenn wanted and not the start that Philo needed.
Does it kind of remind you of the Meadowbrook game? Hitting a couple threes early,
hammering them early.
And the turnovers, it's not like the turnovers are happening past getting the ball past the half court. It's happening right at the initial spot of the press.
But the one basket that Philo has, John Glenn completely sold out.
Yeah,
they had 4 guys up pressuring the ball, and Philo was able to throw long and get the cheapie. But I don't think you can do that all night.
I don't think you can do it either.
Sooner or later, you're going to have to get a press offense going, and I think that's probably what Coach Trout for Philo is talking about right now. Let's get our guys set up to get a press offense.
And Nathan Walker's hands are all over the place on the ball, so making tips.
There you go. Nice. They break the press pretty easily. Drive up, no good. That was Searles, and then knocked out of bounds. That's too bad because Philo did an excellent job of centering the basketball on the break, and now the Electrics are going to press, but they just flat out missed the layup. 6:08 to go, first quarter, 10-2. Philo trails, and John Glenn has the basketball, and Wall says, everybody out of my way, I can take it. He goes to the right corner to Nikolazakis. Nikolazakis reverses back on top to Woodard. Woodard drives back to the corner, and then a tip by Strickland, and then knocked out of bounds, but it will stay with John Glenn. So Demetrius Strickland being a little bit handsy. There's that football kind of attitude.
Demetrius Strickland is the best defender for Philo, and obviously he's going to play against the best player for John Glenn. He will be on Nathan Walker,
who is scoreless, by the way, at this point of the game. With the basketball is Woodard. Woodard being guarded in the half court. Drives left to Larrick, who's out on the left wing now, back on top. Long ball on the way is a no good by Woodard, and rebounded off to Philo. And then there's another steal. And they threw it right in the passing lane, then behind the back pass, and then a basket by Walls.
Very nice play by Nathan Walker. Good finish by Caden Walls.
There's Philo again breaking the pressure, doing a nice job. They get it across the timeline, and with the ball is Cooper Radcliffe. Radcliffe picks up his dribble over to Strickland, and now to the left corner, back to Strickland. Look inside for the cut. Shot is missed. A couple of free throws coming for Cade Searles.
And they got the blocking foul against Nick Lazakis, probably a half step late, don't you think, Howard?
Yeah, and a nice job by Philo of running an outside-inside offense. Go point, corner, and then the wing cutting through on the ball side. Old-fashioned basketball, but very effective. When you can seal your guy defensively, you're going to get a good pass and then a good shot look, and the first free throw is good.
And it's also amazing when you throw 5 or more passes, reverse the floor, the defense has to work. You get a better look. That's just how basketball is.
You know, Philo ran a nice press break. Free throws missed, but then rebounded offensively by Wright, and then back to Searles. He misses it, and a foul on the floor. I think that's going to go against Wright, but coming back to what Philo had done. By the way, Wright's now picked up his second personal. He's going to have to sit. What Philo had done is did a nice job of breaking the press and then running a good half-court offense, and they got a good shot opportunity. So 2 fouls on Wright.
Now Wright's 6'2". He's one of the bigger guys that can at least be close to the size of Larrick, but they're going to bring in number 4, and that is Clayton Peterson, who's 6'4", so he is 6'4".
Long shot on the way, no good by the Muskies. And here comes Philo back the other way. Driving to drive the length of the floor is Searles. Knocked out of bounds. Substitution for John Glenn. Coming in as Noah Windland. Taking a seat is Caleb Larrick. So John Glenn going a little bit smaller lineup.
And I think it's a track meet right now so far, Howard. I know it's low scoring, but it is a track meet.
Nice inbounds play by Searles. He has 3. It's 12-5 in favor of John Glenn. Shot on the way. No good. I think the foul will be on the floor.
Yes.
As running the floor was Caden Walls.
You remember when you ever heard a referee say downstairs, downstairs?
No.
It means it's on the floor.
Okay.
He'll go, no, downstairs. Downstairs means it's on the floor.
You know, that's one that doesn't have me on it. 24, bang. That's Bexley Woodard. He has 5.
Bexley's got such a nice release.
Yep. Dang, throw long again. Here it is again. One more time on the layup. That's an easy one. That's Talon Preston.
I believe that's Preston's second layup like that.
Yep. Woodard trying to ease up some of the pressure for John Glenn. And now with the basketball is Bexley Woodard. Woodard to the corner of Nikolazakis. Back in the drive inside, a scoop up and under by Caden Walls.
Strong move by Walls.
Yeah, Walls has 6. It is 17-7. And the pace very much favoring John Glenn. And back up again. Another layup try by Philo. No good. And off to the Muskies. That's Will Nikolazakis. Centers the ball, middle of the floor. Back to the corner. Long ball in the race. Perfect. And that is Bexley Woodard, who's on fire. He has 8 and nearly another steal. It's 20-7, 3:15 to go, first quarter. Shot on the way for the Electrics. No good. Rebounded off to John Glenn. It's Nikolazakis running up the floor. Misses the shot. Contested. Stolen back by John Glenn. Drive inside, then back to the wing and inside to Walls, and he is hammered. He'll go to the line for 2 more. Wow.
I tell you, they're getting up and down the court, shooting threes, getting to the lane. It's a little bit of physicality to the game. It's been fun so far, Howard.
Now, John Glenn really impressive here in this first quarter. And Philo hanging in there. I mean, 20-7, makes it sound like it's out of reach, but it's certainly not. But they've got to make some shots.
John Glenn's shooting the ball really, really well. They are 7 of their first 11. Meanwhile, Philo is just 3 of their first 11.
The foul was on Cade Searles. The free throw is made by Caden Walls. He is 3 of 4 from the line. His team leads 21-7.
Yeah, 5th attempt already in this quarter.
Yep, second one also good. 8 points for Walls, 8 points for Woodard. And John Glenn stays. Looks like a 1-2-2 press.
It is, and it could be man. No, it's going to be a
maybe
a run and jump from here.
Yeah, they're just going to go straight man.
There comes the jumps.
Strickland picks up his dribble, gets some help from Cooper Radcliffe. Back to Clayton Peterson, who's checked in. Shot rebounded by Peterson, up, no good. Rebound knocked around, picked up loose on the floor by John Glenn. Good hustle by both teams. John Glenn comes away with it. To the corner, it's Nikolazakis. He gets some support there from Woodard. Woodard, long ball on the way, no good by the Muskies. That was Nelson Cameron who's checked in. And then a shot up, no good by Nikolazakis, or I should say Noah Widland. And it was last touched by the Electrics.
You know, Howard, we haven't played 6 minutes, and John Glenn has 22 points. That's a lot of points.
Yeah, and still with 2:12 to go here in the first quarter. And they are certainly working their way. Long ball on the way is good. That's a perfect 3 that time by the Muskies. That's Nathan Walker. And that's his first basket of the game. And look out if he gets hot. Searles back the other way, loses it, picked back up, and he will be fouled. And that personal will go against John Glenn. Larrick's going to check back in for the Muskies.
I think they got Nelson Cameron for his first foul.
Mark Dreff's one of the officials on that call for the personal going against Widland. 25-7, 1:57 to go here in the first quarter. On top, Cade Searles, being guarded, man-to-man. He'll drive to the right side. Shot up is good. Cade Searles on a nice drive. He has 5, and it's 25-9.
That was just a pure strength move there by Searles.
To the corner, and then inside for Larrick. Larrick double-teamed, gets out of it, goes to Nikolazakis. He will drive baseline.
Nice
bounce pass inside to Larrick. Offensive foul, I believe, coming. Yes, sir.
Larrick picked up his elbows and kind of shuffled them, swiveled them, and they're going to get him for that every time.
Outstanding entry pass, though. Nice low bounce pass to the knees where Larrick could make an up and under move, but unfortunately he moved his shoulder, stolen away by John Glenn. And they will go across the timeline to the corner, then driving and then kicking to Larrick was Walker. He is tied up, ball loose on the floor, and it belongs to Philo, and then knocked out of bounds. It will stay with the Electrics at the 1:12 mark, 25-9. John Glenn all over Philo at this point of the first quarter here at Philo. You're listening to NASH Icon MVL Basketball. Inbounds pass goes to Cooper Radcliffe. Radcliffe on the left wing, no good. An offensive rebound, no good. That was by Preston, or Peterson rather, and John Glenn with the ball. Let's see if they hold for one under a minute to go here in the first quarter.
I don't think they are.
I was going to say it would be a surprise.
It would. They're doubling hard on Lyric, though. Tripling now.
And let's see if he gets it. Nope. Didn't use the backboard. Tries to go front rim. Rebounded off to the Electrics. And, boy, they are in a hurry, too. Boy, John Glenn just makes you go in a hurry.
Do.
Shot missed and then rebounded to John Glenn. And I think personal foul goes against the Electrics. And that's already their 5th team foul.
Yeah, it's going to be on Ethan Wickham, his first. Now they might hold for one, Howard.
Yeah, they have the basketball. It's Steele Bates. I believe he's just a freshman getting some varsity time here in the first quarter. Bounce pass again to Lyric, double teamed. Back to Bates, shot on the way and no good. Rebounded to Lyric, loose on the floor now. Picked up finally by Philo, and the Electrics will have it for the last possession of the first quarter. Then a silly foul goes against John Glenn. That's Lane Hall trying to get a steal with 9 seconds to go in the open court, and that will be his first, team's 4th here in the first half.
A lot of fouls early in this first quarter.
Now, we thought it would be physical, though.
Yeah, physical, and it's been high-paced.
Nearly a steal off the inbounds pass, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And if you're the inbounder, Clayton Peterson, that's your natural reaction. The ball gets tipped right back at you, catch it. Don't get out of the way, but that's exactly what happened.
Bates had his hands in the air in the passing lane off the inbounds and knocked it back to him as he was stepping on the floor. So John Glenn will indeed get the final shot of the first quarter. And that is Bexley Woodard. Woodard over to Nikolazakis. He will drive inside, lose the basketball, tie up at the end of the first quarter. Wow. We have played one at Philo where the score is John Glenn 25, Philo 9, back in 60 seconds.
I'm not buying till I check Down Ford.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you'll always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. In business for nearly 60 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at doanford.com.
Your home and your car are likely your 2 biggest investments. Protecting them from unexpected damage is a prime concern to WB Green Insurance. They are proud to represent Westfield Insurance, a financial service organization that provides insurance products for your home, auto, and business. Sharing knowledge, building trust is Westfield Insurance's pledge to their customers, along with personalized claim service that's fast and friendly. To learn how Westfield can help with your insurance needs, talk to WB Green Insurance today.
Second quarter about to begin here from the power plant where John Glenn had their own way in the first quarter as they thumped the Electrics 25-9, but Philo, I think, started to settle down at least in the last 2 or 3 minutes, Mike, and handled the pressure. And if they could get some shots to drop, they could be okay.
Yeah, they had 5 turnovers early in that first quarter, ended the quarter with 6. John Glenn only with 2 turnovers in that first quarter.
Will Nikolazakis on top. Goes to Walls, drives inside, shot from 15's perfect.
We talked about that in the pregame. That mid-range jumper by Caden Walls.
He has 10, first in doubles. Double teamed by John Glenn, trying to get out of it is Searles. And then I think...
No choice but to call timeout, Howard. And he takes a 30.
Yeah, so at that time the Electrics didn't use what they had done earlier, which is to try to get the ball in the middle of the floor.
Right.
They inbound to the corner. And John Glenn initially wasn't going to trap, it looked like. And then I think it's an automatic.
Once it gets that deep in the corner, you're exactly right.
That's good coaching, I think, by John Glenn. Because anytime you have automatics, your kids are listening to what they're supposed to do.
I'll tell you what John Glenn does. They all, there's a lot of people that play, so therefore they have fresh legs, but they chase the ball. Once it gets to the next level, everybody chases the ball well, and you hear those feet going up and down the court. And if you're Philo right now, you feel like you're in a rat race, and you got to play fast too. And that's exactly what Philo's fallen into, that trap.
Interesting about that too is I watched the JV and the freshmen. They all play the same way.
Yeah, they do, and that's what you want in your program.
Long pass on the inbounds to the Electrics. They break the pressure. Straight man for John Glenn, then the run and jump. Demetrius Strickland gets it. He will go inside, shot up, and it's good. Nice job that time. That's Clayton Peterson with his first basket. Nice job by Strickland. Now Philo will press. It's Nikolazakis on the left side. He will drive baseline and then kick over to Walls. Walls tries to go inside, then the ball tipped around, and then for the three, no good by Winland. Rebounded off to Demetrius Strickland. Left-handed dribble, now double teamed and fouled.
And they called a charge.
Ouch.
They called the offensive foul on Strickland, which I thought Winland's feet were still moving, but maybe Strickland dipped his shoulder. It was hard to tell from this angle.
Tough call goes against Philo, and John Glenn will have the basketball back.
So the 7th turnover tonight by the Electrics.
One more, John Glenn will be shooting the bonus. As Mike talked about in the pregame, very good free throw shooting team. Inside it goes, shot up is no good. That's missed by Nathan Walker and then stolen away by Walker, but then he knocks it out of bounds. So Philo will have it with Demetrius Strickland as the inbounder.
You know, Howard, pressing after a miss is kind of a new thing. You see it a lot now, teams do it. After a miss, they set up in a press.
Sure, dead ball situation.
Yep.
Get your guys a chance. Double team by John Glenn in the corner, and instead it will be a drive and then an up and un by Philo. Good job of Clayton Peterson cleaning up the missed shot. Here come the Muskies right back the other way. Missed layup that time by Lane Hall. I should have not Lane Hall make that, Noah Winland. And then driving inside is Searle. Shot up, no good. Rebounded by Strickland. Long ball on the way, no good. Rebounded by the Muskies. It's Caden Walls, has it stolen away by Demetrius Strickland. And timeout by Philo.
Yeah, I believe Jason Trout, well, he didn't call timeout.
I was going to say,
He's saying, no, I didn't call it.
I don't think he wants a timeout because it'd have to be a full at this point, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Let's see, that would be, I'm looking for the, he called it a full timeout.
Yeah, he's going to have to make it a full, yeah. All right, we will step aside for a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the resumption of the game. It's 27-13, John Glenn over Philo.
Our community is a special place, and you work hard to make a living and build a good life for you and your family. It's not always easy. You deserve a local financial partner to be there when you need them most. At Woodsfield Savings Bank, we live, work, and play here. Our cutting-edge technology combined with local decision-making allows us to deliver unmatched personal service. Let us start earning your trust today. Woodsfield Savings Bank. It's personal.
We are back, and some discussion going on amongst the coaches, players, fans, officials.
And broadcasters.
Yeah, the situation was it was a tie-up between Strickland and a couple of John Glenn guys, and the officials thought that Philo had taken the timeout, and Coach Trout very adamant and just that I did not call a timeout. However, it stands, so the Electrics, unless they took it away, I think they'd have to keep it.
Yeah,
would they?
But official Randy Cunningham signaled full timeout, and he's still after the official. Coach Trout is. So that's going to leave him with 2 timeouts for about almost 3 quarters.
Yeah, I just don't think he wanted that one.
I don't think so either.
With the basketball is Cooper Radcliffe. He will drive on the right side, pick up the dribble back. Broad top to Demetrius Strickland. Strickland drives inside. Shot no good. Rebounded by Larrick. Larrick back to Caden Walls. And then driving to the left and then back on top are the Muskies. It's Nathan Walker. He has it rejected by Strickland, and then a foul goes against the Muskies. John Glenn shot's not dropping here in this first couple of minutes of this second quarter either.
No, it's not. Nathan Walker, they're going to call Nathan Walker on that. They made their first shot of the quarter, but since then, Howard, they've missed 4 straight. And they've all been contested. That's the one thing Philo's made a difference. Everything's contested by Philo so far in his second quarter.
Philo throws long again on the press offense and then drive inside. Shot up is good. That's Drew Wright back on the floor. So Philo may have figured out some press offense. It's 27-15. The Electrics back in it. And nearly a turnover, but knocked out of bounds, last touched by the Electrics. So John Glenn will inbound. They are up 27-15, 5:15 to go here in the second quarter from Philo.
Philo getting confidence.
And shot no good that time by Walker. And then rebound, here comes Strickland running the floor on the break. Has it rejected. And then coming back the other way, it's Nikolazakis, and he will bounce inside. Shot up, and it's in and good. Nearly another steal.
And it is.
Yep. That was Steele Bates, by the way, on the basket. So John Glenn, a little bit of a run going now. Back on top is Walls. Walls, that 15-footer is no good. Rebounded on the floor. It's Demetrius Strickland. Strickland will get some help from Cooper Radcliffe. Back to Strickland. It's a 4-on-3 situation. And then a bounce pass inside to Wright, no good. And then knocked out of bounds by Walls. So Philo once again doing a nice job. They're in still a bit of a hurry, but they are getting the ball up the floor and at least getting some looks.
One thing they're doing, Howard, both teams have shot it 23 times, so they have the equal amount of shots and way more turnovers than John Glenn, so they are getting opportunities from the offensive glass.
4:26 to go, second quarter, 29-15. Philo on the inbounds. On top, Cade Searles, he has 5. To the corner and then back to Strickland. Strickland all on the way is good. It's a triple. He has his first basket. It's 29-18.
Yeah, all of a sudden back to an 11-point lead here.
Yep. They have solved somewhat of the press and they've started to make a few shots. Larrick inside for the Muskies. He loses it, and I think some people wanted a jump ball, but I think it's going to go a personal foul.
They're going to get Demetrius Strickland. That's his second. Now, here's the interesting call. I thought Larrick was trying to pass the ball. They called he was in the act of shooting.
And I think some people also wanted to see maybe a jump ball that they thought Strickland had all ball. Larrick's free throw is good. He has 3, and it's 30-18 with 4:01 to go in the second quarter. One more coming for Larrick, the 6'6 junior.
62% on the year, 25 of 40.
Strickland takes a seat with his second foul. Second one, front iron, no good. Rebounded to Drew Wright. Wright ahead to Searles. Searles drives inside all the way to the basket, draws the contact, and he'll go to the line for a couple.
One thing Searles does, he goes to the basket, he goes hard. He makes a commitment, and he's gone.
What I'm also seeing is that Philo, they're fearless when they're going to the basket.
Definitely.
I mean, they're not converting a lot, but they're not intimidated.
Offensively, these teams are a lot alike. They like to get shots up.
First free throw by Searles is no good. One more coming, but give Philo credit. They're down 12 and possibly 11 here, a bit depending on the free throw. But I like what they're doing. They're going right at it.
I agree 100%.
No, too bad. Both free throws missed, but rebounded by Wright, and then loose on the floor in the corner. It's Preston, and back on top. Cade Searles drives right. Loses the basketball, loose, and it belongs to John Glenn. And then running the floor for the run-out layup is Nathan Winland. And then Philo throwing it back the other way. Wide open is Drew Wright. He will make the layup.
That's the third time. That's 6 points John Glenn's given up on that same play.
32-20 in favor of John Glenn. With the basketball is Bexley Woodard. Woodard goes inside and then back outside on top again to Woodard. Woodard thinks about the long 3, drives inside and kicks back to the wing, and then back on top. Long shot on the way is no good by Bexley Woodard, but rebounded by Steele Bates. Steele Bates will go to the left wing for Woodard. Willard back on top, and John Glenn will set up an offense up 32-20 with 2:45 to go here in the second quarter. Driving baseline for the Muskies.
What a
and then
pass.
A little pass inside to Bates.
The Philo crowd thought that Winland came down, and for it to be a travel, came down back onto his foot, but it was close.
34-20, double team by John Glenn. Searles in some trouble, getting hammered, and getting it up to Radcliffe, and then he will be fouled.
And they're going to get Nelson Cameron kind of rode him down the floor.
Yeah, that's the second time that John Glenn has been guilty of that, just trying to get the ball when a guy's flying up the floor. That's a tough way to steal a ball.
I'll tell you one thing, John Glenn's creating havoc.
Yeah.
And they're speeding this game up. So both teams with 7 team fouls, 14 total fouls so far in this first half.
Yeah. And this game may come down to a free throw shooting contest. Free throw is up, and it's good by Demetrius Strickland. He has 4, or I shouldn't say Strickland, pardon me. Shooting the free throws, they say, is Cooper Radcliffe. He makes the first one. One more coming, no good. Rebounded by Noah Winland. Winland off to Caden Walls, who's checked back in. Back on top are the Muskies. And then with the basketball is Nathan Walker to Walls. Walls driving left to the corner, driving inside and kicking back to the wing, then back out on top. Here's Nick Lazakis, bounce pass inside, and then back on top. 3 on the way by John Glenn, no good. Rebounded off to Philo. And here come the Electrics, 34-21. And driving inside and then turning it over. That was Cooper Radcliffe. And once again, I think the Philo folks feel as though it probably wasn't a palming the basketball, but official standing right there, and he goes with it.
You don't see that signal that the official gave too often. We usually see this.
The palming, yeah.
He gave the up and down with his hands.
He's from Germany.
Could be.
That's how they do it in European, isn't it?
I think you're right. And that's,
and wait
a minute.
Push inside.
No, we got 3 seconds.
Uh-oh.
The second game we've done together, Howard.
Yeah.
That's our second 3-second violation we've had.
If you weren't with us Tuesday, we talked about 3 seconds very rarely called anymore. And all of a sudden we've got another one tonight. So
2 in 2 games.
Yep, 2 in 2 games. That'll probably be the last one we see. Inside it's Searles. Searles up off the glass. No good. Rebounded to John Glenn. Nick Lazakis. Only a Philo could make some shots.
Yeah, Philo is rebounding the ball well, and that's the thing that's keeping them in it.
Stolen away by Philo.
And they're going to get Walls.
Yep, that's Radcliffe. He'll go to the line for a 1-and-1, and that'll be Walls first, and bonus time for the Electrics. Well, you know, Philo, they're hanging. 1:06 to go. They trail 34-21.
Just 2 of 7 from the line, though, Howard. And like I said, they're not shooting it well. Philo's not shooting it well, but they are crushing John Glenn on the boards right now.
Free throw on the way, no good. Rebounded off to John Glenn. Nick Lazakis hammered in the backcourt, no call. And loose goes to John Glenn. So the game getting very physical.
It's up and down, and people's on the floor diving for loose balls. Turnovers are starting to become very prevalent.
Very handsy.
Yes.
Now we're going to get some discussion amongst the officials, and a foul goes against somebody.
I think they're going to get
Braden
Bleakney.
I think Bleakney trying to be a little bit aggressive on the inbound screen.
Very sportsmanlike, though, went over to help up the John Glenn player as soon as it happened. It was Nick Lazakis.
Yeah, Nick Lazakis going to go to the line. He has a 3.
Nick Lazakis, 7 of 10 from the line this year, 70%.
Very quick player, by the way, is Nick Lazakis. Just a sophomore. He will be heard from the next couple of years.
Absolutely.
Free throw on the way is good.
He's got a nice smooth touch. I like his style. Always near the basketball.
You know, Philo has tried to creep within under 10 about the last 2 or 3 possessions.
You're right.
And they just haven't been able to do it.
Can't break it.
Second free throw is also good. And now all of a sudden it's back to a 15-point lead. It was 11, then back-to-back baskets. Bleakney will take a seat for the Electrics. 36-21. John Glenn over Philo. Strickland with the ball. He is being guarded by Caden Walls. Throws it out of bounds. And saw the double team and couldn't handle it.
I don't know if Nicholas Hawkins tipped it or not, but I thought I saw the trajectory of the ball change as the ball was being thrown over here, but maybe they got away with one.
So they have a little bit of a discussion. I guess they're going to say that John Glenn will have the ball.
So that is the 9th turnover by Philo. They had been doing a better job since the beginning of the game.
They had 21 the first time these two teams played, so they're hanging in there. Under a minute to go here in the first half. It's 36-21. John Glenn on top. Long shot on the waist. Front iron, no good. That was Bexley Woodard, but offensive rebound. It's Nikolazakis.
Guess who? Yeah,
Caden Walls now with the ball over to Woodard. Bexley Woodard will bring it back on top, run some offense here with the clock moving down to 25 seconds to go. On top, it's Woodard. Woodard will take the three. Good. Boy, heartbreak hotel for Philo.
I think Philo threw it away again.
Yeah.
And I believe is that 4 threes for Woodard in the first half?
You are indeed correct. He has 4 threes, 12 points for Bexley Woodard. And it looks like John Glenn could go up 20 that fast here with 10 seconds to go in the quarter. It was just an 11-point lead. So a big run for John Glenn and 3 free throws coming.
Second time this has happened.
With 2 seconds to go. That's tough.
This will be
second time for Walls.
6, 7, and 8 for Walls.
Yeah. Personal foul will go against the Electrics. That's Braden Bleakney, his second. Free throw no good by Walls. He is 4 of 6 from the line here in the first half. And 2 more coming. Now you close the guy out, but you make contact. Front iron, no good. 39-21, the lead remains at 18.
60% at the line this year. Missed all 3, but we'll have a rebound.
Up and then a block shot. Up for the offensive rebound,
Walker almost got it.
Nathan Walker. So, at the first half in what we can best describe as fast-paced, up and down, physical. Guys going right to the rack, laying it out on the line, and despite the score, I think a pretty good basketball game. And John Glenn, to their credit, Mike, they were able to withstand a bunch of runs by Philo and just kept playing and kept increasing.
I agree. I think we're going to look at these. I'm going to accumulate these stats, and I think what we're going to see is John Glenn just shot it better. The rebounds, they were going to get really out-rebounded by Philo, but and Philo had some costly turnovers early that hurt him too.
So we will step aside for a couple of minutes and come back and have some halftime talk. But again, the score at halftime is John Glenn 39, Philo 21. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you paying too much for homeowners insurance? Has your insurance company raised your deductible? Hi, this is John Valentine with Valentine Insurance. Many people can't accurately answer these questions. With many premiums escrowed into mortgages, homeowners don't pay attention to changes to their policies anymore. It's time you visit Valentine Insurance for a true, no-obligation review of your insurance policy. Call 994-1776 or stop by our office at 739 Southgate Parkway in Cambridge.
I was sitting in my car and it wouldn't start. I lifted the hood and the engine was falling apart. What would I do? My eyes filled with tears. Then on the radio I heard of West 40 by Pay here, where for a little money down and a little each week, I could have a car, nice, shiny, and sleek. So I walked in the door and I put the money down. Now I got a nice car that I can drive around. West 40 by Pay here will help rebuild your credit. The corner of Dewey and Route 40 in Cambridge, don't you forget it.
West 40 Auto Sales, corner of Route 40 and Dewey Avenue in Cambridge, is home of the guaranteed credit approval, with most loans approved while you wait. Go to their website to fill out an online loan application, west40autosales.com. You'll also find their weekly special listed there.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TOOL for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TOOL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TOOL.
Now located at 16050 McConnellsville Road in Caldwell, Ohio, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance Company is a mutual insurance company established in 1896 for the purpose of providing insurance coverage to rural Ohio. They offer a product to meet your insurance need, whether it is for a farm, rental dwelling, home in town, secondary or seasonal dwelling, churches, or mobile home. They partner with Grinnell Mutual Insurance Company to offer liability coverage to package with their Patrons Buckeye Mutual policy. Call today at 638-3604 and follow them on Facebook at Patrons Buckeye.
I'm not buying till I check on Ford.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you'll always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. In business for nearly 60 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at DoanFord.com.
Welcome back, everyone. NASH Icon radio and video. Thanks to our good friends. It's Jaron, our producer tonight, and also on cameras is Cameron Love. That's Jaron Aber, by the way, our producer. Cameron Love and Bree Stoneburner on cameras. I'm Howard Twiggs along with Coach Mike Snively. And Mike, 39-21, 18 points, but with about 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, Philo was in the game. I think they were down 11, and then they got outscored by 7 more. And then the lead is certainly not insurmountable, but it's bigger than I think the Electrics hoped it would be.
Well, one thing I thought, it's an 18-point lead, but it felt like at one point this thing was going to get to 30 pretty quick.
Yeah.
And like you said, how many times? There was like 3 or 4 opportunities where Philo had a chance to get it under double digits. Never did get it to that point. They finally did get John Glenn to play a little bit reckless and miss some shots, but it just never came to fruition. And John Glenn, with that 7-0 run at the end of the half, that kind of solidified the first half. For John Glenn.
After one quarter, it was 25-9. John Glenn, and I think most people were sitting here saying, "Uh-oh, they could lay 100 on the Electrics."
They did that last week against Meadowbrook too, didn't
they?
Yeah.
And then things got a little haywire. So 25-9, and then in the second quarter, John Glenn outscored Philo just 14-12. So the Electrics, even though, as Mike mentioned, they were very frenetic and very up and down and not out of control, but a little bit wild, they at least managed to make some shots and beat the press.
Right, and they beat the press 3 or 4 times as we were talking. And John Glenn's press, it's kind of like all or nothing, and Philo get it down the court, makes 3 or 4 baskets. There's 8 of your 21 points. But John Glenn is doing it not without fouling. I mean, there's a lot of fouling going on. I believe both teams had 8 fouls. So we had 16 fouls in that first half, so a longer first half. But Philo doing a much better job on the offensive glass and defensive glass that's kind of keeping them in the game.
Let's take a look at some individual scoring before Mike gives us some first half numbers for John Glenn. Caleb Blarick had a basket, 1 of 2 from the line for 3 points. Caden Walls had 3 baskets and was 4 of 8 from the free throw line. He had 10 points. 2 points for Noah Windland on a basket. Nathan Walker had a 3. He is their leading scorer. The leading scorer for John Glenn on the night in the first half was Bexley Woodard with the 4 triples for 12. Will Nikolazakis had a tray and 2 free throws for 5. And off the bench, freshman Steele Bates had a couple of baskets for 2. That adds up to 39 for the Electrics. Cade Searles, a couple of baskets, 1 of 4 from the free throw line for 5. Demetrius Strickland had a triple for 3. Cooper Radcliffe, 1 of 3 from the line, had a point. Talon Preston, 2 baskets for 4. Drew Wright, 2 baskets for 4. Clayton Peterson off the bench had 2 baskets for 4. It adds up to 21. What about numbers, Mike?
Well, let's look at shooting first. Philo shot at 9 of 26 for 35%. They made 9 shots in the first half. John Glenn was 13 of 29 for 44%. Rebounding Philo, this is keeping them in the game. They out-rebounded John Glenn 20 to 18. Also, Philo had 6 offensive rebounds. John Glenn had 4. Turnovers a big factor tonight. Philo turned it over a lot early in the game, but slowed it down a little bit. They have a total of 10 turnovers, and John Glenn has a total of 5 turnovers. Shooting from the line, Philo just 2 of 8, and John Glenn 7 of 12.
Yep. Well, that's what it adds up to. So, I'll put you in the locker room situation, Coach. First for Philo, what do you got cooking?
One, we're taking better care of the ball. But we're praising these guys. You know, we talked about them. They're in attack mode all the time. Continue to attack. We're going to make shots eventually. We're getting pretty decent looks. These shots are going to start falling eventually. But we got to take just a little bit better care of the basketball, and let's make some free throws.
All right. Yeah, just the 2 of 7. Now I'll put you in the John Glenn locker room. You're Coach Eric Scheck. What do you got cooking?
Let's not foul as much. I love the way you're playing. Let's play defense without fouling. And my goodness, I always said this as a coach: play great defense without fouling. And it's hard to do. It really is. So you got to play. We're shooting the ball well. We're playing well. Keep playing hard. And you know, every once in a while we got a little careless with it too. So we got to take care of it too.
We'll take one more break. When we come back, we'll start the second half. It's 39-21, John Glenn over Philo, back in 60.
Not buying till I checked on Ford.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you'll always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. In business for nearly 60 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at DoanFord.com.
Like you get a rivalry game.
Welcome back, everyone. We are going to begin the second half as Howard Twiggs and Coach Mike Snively here at the power plant. John Glenn in the maroon uniforms with white numerals and trim. They will go with Caleb Blarick, Caden Walls, Nathan Walker, Bexley Woodard, and Will Nikolazakis. For Philo, it'll be Cade Searles, Demetrius Strickland, Drew Wright, Talon Preston.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And also on the floor, Wesley Wilson.
Howard, I didn't mean to give you the elbow hit there.
That's okay. I've been elbowed before. Philo with the basketball.
I think I see a little zone out
I was going to say,
here.
it looks like a soft, maybe like a soft 1-2-2 for John Glenn.
We got some length out there, I will say that.
Yeah. Philo trying to size it up. They've got Strickland at the high post. But
this will slow Philo down a little bit.
It's going to slow John Glenn down a little bit. And then a steal by John Glenn. Here comes Walls. He will go up the floor to Walker. He'll miss it and then steps out of bounds with the basketball. So back to Philo. So John Glenn opens up the third quarter in a 1-2-2 defense. Philo takes some time to get used to it, and unfortunately they can't convert, but they will have the basketball back. This could work to their advantage if they knock down some shots.
Right. Now, like I said, there's going to be some length. Walker at the top of this. He can take care of a lot of footage with that length, and then you've got Larrick down low and Woodard down low.
Yeah, Searles, Searles runs the high post this time. Strickland to the corner. back to Searles, and then on top, and then swing the basketball over to Cooper Radcliffe, and then inside for right double team, knocked and then blocked by John Glenn, Caleb Larrick, and then a foul on the floor, I think, goes against John Glenn. Very physical.
Yeah, they're going to get Larrick on the foul.
That's his second. Team's first here in.
That might be Larrick's third.
Yeah, we've got possibly 3 fouls on Larrick. We'll get it clarified. With the basketball, driving baseline is Searles, double teamed, in trouble, throws it up, no good, rebounded by the Muskies. That's Walker ahead to Walls. Walls, middle of the floor, drives and then drives it back out, kicks over to Bexley Woodard, and it's good for a triple.
5 threes on the night for Woodard.
Yeah, 15 points. That gives John Glenn the opportunity to set up their pressure defense at 1-2-2 three-quarter court. Philo does a good job of getting across the timeline. It's Cade Searles with the ball. Looks like John Glenn's going back to man-to-man.
Yes, they are.
And a bump by Walls.
And that's what they do not want to do, pick up 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes. By the way, that's Woodard's 29th three on the year. He's one more and he's at 30.
Searles will be the inbounder for the Electrics. Nick Lazakis giving a little bit of pressure to Cooper Radcliffe. And Radcliffe will go to the right side for Searles. Back to Radcliffe, picks up the dribble. And then over to Strickland, back on top to Searles. Searles drives inside. Shot up off glass, no good. Rebound on the floor to Larrick. Streaking ahead is John Glenn. They're going to maybe, nope, they don't get the cheapie. As getting back, excellent job that time by Talon Preston of avoiding the run-out layup. But John Glenn will keep the basketball up 42-21, 5:53 to go here in the third quarter.
A little lob up here for, Here comes the screen down for Walker.
Double teamed on the baseline, can't get it to Larrick. Knocked around, kicked around, it belongs to Philo. Running and missing the layup is Radcliffe. Knocked out of bounds by John Glenn. Oh, those missed shots for Philo.
You know, another thing too, Howard, dead ball rebounds. Every dead ball rebound so far seems to go to Philo, which means they're probably hustling.
Yeah, they're getting their hands in there and swarming around. Searles, shot up from 12, no good. Rebound offensively by Strickland, and they're going to say a foul.
Let's see who they get it on this time with John Glenn. That's going to be on Nicholas Zakis.
That will be his second.
You just wonder if John Glenn's getting themselves in a little bit too much foul trouble here. Slowly, it's starting to matriculate.
Well, Strickland makes the first free throw. He has 4 on the night, 42-22. The lead is 20 for John Glenn.
3 of 9 at the line for Philo, their 10th free throw attempt upcoming.
Strickland, the 6'2 senior, second one on the way, is good. See if Philo puts some pressure on the ball. They, in fact, will. They'll press off the made free throws, and John Glenn, Walls trying to dribble it out to Nicholas Zakis. Wide open under the basket was Larrick. They didn't see him. Walls between the legs, dribble, now will dribble it back out. And he will go over to Bexley Woodard, who will drive left, go off glass, no good. Rebound by Larrick, shot up and in.
That's a very strong rebound and put back by Larrick.
Pressure by John Glenn. Coach Sheck off the bench, imploring his guys to get after it. Inside it will go, and then kicked back over to Drew Wright. Wright fumbles the ball, picked up, and knocked out of bounds by Wright. Back to John Glenn. Yeah, I'm not sure you want Drew Wright handling the ball in that situation.
No, he did, however, hustle, try to retain possession, but it was unable to do it. So Philo in the diamond press now, Howard.
Yeah. John Glenn sees the double team, reverse to Walls. Walls picks up the dribble, back to Woodard, back to Walls. Shot clock, or I should say 10-second count. There it is.
I thought it was 10.
Yeah.
I thought it was getting close to 10.
Yeah, you've got 2 guys involved on that press break and going horizontal rather than vertical. You got a problem.
And they kept going backwards.
Backward, horizontal. I'm not good at math, but whatever it wasn't good.
Well, they were passing it horizontally, but they were stepping backwards, so we're both right.
Oh, thank you. Nice to be right once tonight, Mike. Strickland with the ball 25 feet from the basket on the right side of the court. On top to Searles. Searles trying to muscle his way inside. Does so, scoops it up, loses it. Rebound to Alaric, to Nikolazakis. It's a 3-on-1 and then thrown away. Good hustle that time by Talon Preston for Philo to get back defensively. And here comes Preston back to Strickland. Game's getting real physical and fast again.
A little sloppy too.
Yeah, physical and fast. It's 2-on-1. Walls will dribble it out of bounds. You know, I wonder which coach is going to take a timeout first. It probably would have to be John Glenn. They're going to sub, but
I think Coach Scheck just.
I think both coaches need to slow things down a little bit.
I've noticed too. John Glenn's probably missed 3 open baskets by open cutters, and their eyes aren't up. I think John Glenn had 3 guys open on that play.
Yeah, they've had numbers. That's going to be Radcliffe driving the timeline all the way to the other end. Misses the layup. Rebounded off to Nathan Walker. Walker has been very quiet, just 3 points. He will go inside on a nice assist.
That's how you do it.
Noah Winland. So excellent job by Walker. Didn't score, but led the teammates' basket. Shot up, no good by Searles. Rebounded offensively up, and it's in for Philo.
That's Ethan Wickham on the basket, right?
And then driving is Walker, so he starts to make his charge, and Philo will take a timeout here. So here's where we stand. It's 48-25 as Philo has been unable to really do anything in this third quarter to dent into the lead, and they have been outscored 9-4. It's not for lack of effort, Coach. It's just they just haven't made shots.
Well, speaking of not making shots, the last shot they made in this quarter with 3:18 was their first. So they had not made a shot. They were one of their first 8. And however, I believe Strickland made a couple free throws. So they only have 4 points in the quarter. John Glenn, they now have 9. So John Glenn runs have just been a little longer, a little more extended, and a little less turnovers.
The only basket for Philo in this third quarter off the bench, Ethan Wickham for the 2. And the 2 free throws, as Mike had mentioned, 2 of 2 for Demetrius Strickland. For John Glenn in this third quarter, a tray for Bexley Woodard. And baskets by Nathan Walker, Noah Winland, and Caleb Blarick.
I wouldn't mind. No, I wouldn't think that. I would think that Coach Scheck's going to see that Nathan Walker really has a good feel of this game, not only scoring but passing. He's made some good decisions in the press and finding the open man several times for a couple good assists. So let's see if we don't see Nathan Walker handling the ball more.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes guys who are big scorers have a way of just bang. The guy just got 10 points in about 3 minutes.
Yes.
Back the other way come the Electrics.
And here he goes again.
Rebounded and knocked around, and then John Glenn will draw the personal foul. It's a rebound to Walker for the Muskies, and they will have the inbounds against what we think will be a Philo press. Nope, looks like they're going to back it up. Now they're going to stay with it.
7 rebounds for Walker on the night.
He has not scored much, but he's played very well on the defensive end, and he's rebounded and handled the ball well. He has it, the 6'3 senior. And he will go to Nelson Cameron. To Steele Bates, inside to Walker. Double team on the baseline. He'll go to Steele Bates in the corner. Rebound no good. And another 3 on the way for John Glenn. That one also no good. And then another shot for the 3 by John Glenn. Also no good, and then a foul. That's Nelson Cameron getting his money's worth. Just couldn't get him to fall.
Yeah, three offensive rebounds on that possession.
Nathan Walker finally draws the contact foul. And Philo has the basketball back, trailing 48-25, 2.5 to go third quarter. Across the timeline is Radcliffe. Double team, goes over to Searles. Whoa, long ball is no good, but rebounded inside, then up and in. That's Clayton Peterson. He has 6. Cade Searles took one from about your range, Mike.
Well, he gets it out there. I tell you, Searles will pull up anywhere inside 30 feet. He's a threat. Just haven't went in for him
That's
tonight.
Your range, 30 feet.
My shoulder can't get it 10 feet now.
Inside to Walker. Walker muscles his way up and in. Nice job that time by Nathan Walker. He has 7, 50-27. You know, one thing Philo can't do now is then just start throwing it up.
Right.
They've got to run some offense. Searles drives inside, tries to take it over, and he does. Cade Searles now has 7, and it's 50-29 with a minute and a half to go here in the third quarter.
21-point lead. You wonder, when does John Glenn decide to take a little bit of time off?
I'm not sure that's in their DNA, Mike.
I'm not sure either. They did reverse the floor twice this time.
Yeah, well, that's a nice pass and cut to Walker. By the way, we talked about Walker. He's just got 6 points in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He's up to 9. He's their leading scorer at 16 a game.
And leading rebounder right now tonight was 7.
Yeah, the average is almost 6 per game.
And he's probably got 3 assists.
Cooper Radcliffe across the timeline to Cade Searles, double teamed, nearly a backcourt, but help from Searles. He'll drive inside.
Searles may have got away with a push.
Yeah, wild shot inside. I think he'll go to the line and get a couple of free throws.
Lane Hall.
Lane Hall's second.
Lane was chasing Searles, and Searles kind of gave him the push off with the forearm, but it did not go his way, so he's going to send Searles to the line for 2.
Searles 1 of 4 free throw shooting. Make it 1 of 5 from the line tonight. A couple of subs for Philo checking in. Nikolazakis re-enters the lineup for John Glenn.
As does Bexley Woodard, who's
Woodard's had quite a bit.
5 threes on the night.
One more coming for Searles. Good. He has 8. Leads the Electrics in scoring. Nikolazakis with the basketball. Goes inside to Woodard. Woodard tries to go to his left, loses the basketball. It's picked up by Searles. Searles across the timeline and drives inside, crashes into everybody. What are we going to get? I think we're going to get some football action here.
It's going to be a charge. I didn't see the signal, but by the way I saw Searles react, it was an offensive foul.
Yeah, when you go into 3 guys,
yeah,
generally they're going to get you on that one.
Reckless abandon down the lane.
We talked about Searles being a really outstanding football player. We talked about it in the pregame, and had a nice head of steam that time.
Yes, he did.
John Glenn with the ball, up 52-30. Nikolazakis drives inside and then kicks. Long shot on the way is perfect. And that is Noah Windland. Noah Windland has 7. It's 55-30 here with just a second to go in the third quarter. So after 3, John Glenn 55, Philo 30. Stay with us. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Are you paying too much for homeowners insurance? Has your insurance company raised your deductible? Hi, this is John Valentine with Valentine Insurance. Many people can't accurately answer these questions. With many premiums escrowed into mortgages, homeowners don't pay attention to changes to their policies anymore. It's time you visit Valentine Insurance for a true, no-obligation review of your insurance policy. Call 994-1776 or stop by our office at 739 Southgate Parkway in Cambridge.
I'm not buying till I check on Ford.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you'll always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. In business for nearly 60 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at doanford.com.
It's Mike Snively. John Glenn in control as they outscore the Electrics 16-9 in that third quarter. So a nice, comfortable 25-point lead for the Muskies with the basketball. It's Will Nikolazakis being guarded in the half-court man-to-man by Cooper Radcliffe. And Walls back on top. Long shot on the way is front iron by Bexley Woodard and rebounded to Philo. John Glenn doing some tracing here. Double team on Strickland. Strickland picks up the dribble, goes back to Cooper Radcliffe. Radcliffe back to Strickland. Strickland on the left side against the John Glenn man-to-man. Will kick to the corner. Long ball on the way. No good by Radcliffe. Rebounded by John Glenn. Here come the Muskies. Caden Walls backs up the dribble. Kicks over to Bexley Woodard and then over to Nathan Walker. He will go inside to Larrick, who will travel.
Yeah, Larrick never caught his balance, and he may have shuffled his pivot foot, drug his pivot foot, I should say. Official calls him for the travel.
Cade Searles will re-enter the lineup, and John Glenn, they back off the press, and they go back to that 1-2-2 zone defense. Philo with a 2-guard front.
Great time to work on things for Coach Scheck.
They go to the high post in Strickland, so good job by Philo, and then a long ball by Searles is no good. It's Nick Lazakis, and he will have a run out to Walker, who's fouled and will go to the line for a pair. And personal foul goes against Cooper Radcliffe. A couple of free throws coming for Walker. He has 9 on the night. He had a little run out activity there.
This will be free throw attempt number 60 on the year for Walker. He is at 72%.
They'll get a pair. First one. Good.
Hearing word that Muskingum University is really looking hard at Nathan Walker. And as they should.
Well, he's got good size. He can handle the second free throw's good.
I think his athleticism, he could definitely play any OAC.
Yeah, he's got good size. He handles the ball. He's not afraid to go inside and bang. He can play some D3 ball.
He can handle the ball too.
Yeah. Zone defense by John Glenn. Philo stays in the 2-guard front. Now long shot by Searles is good.
That might be Searles' first 3 on the night.
It is indeed. Well, not shy about that. Walker to Larrick. Larrick up and under, no good. He'll draw the foul. Well,
now Larrick, how many times has Larrick been to the line tonight?
This will be Larrick's third attempt. He is 1 of 2.
Okay, so he will be at 43 attempts on the year. He's at 62%.
He has 5. Make it 6 as the free throw is good. He is now 2 of 3 from the line. One more coming. 58-33. 6:26 to go. Fourth quarter. John Glenn over Philo on NASH Icon. Second one. Good.
John Glenn, 4 straight free throws.
Yeah, they're only scoring here in this fourth quarter. Clock moves, fourth quarter. John Glenn stays in the 1-2-2 defense. Let's see if Searles takes the long ball again. Nope, this time it's going to be a long one. Good. That's Braden Bleakney for a triple. That's their second 3 of the fourth quarter. 59-36. Inside it will go to Larrick. Larrick has it stole. Tough call. Goes against Strickland. That's a tough one.
Strickland didn't like it, and I don't think I did either. Once Larrick brought the ball down, I thought somebody's going to get that. Sure enough, Strickland got it, but they got, of course, the official has the better angle than we do.
Absolutely. You know, interesting, they're going to take a full timeout as John Glenn. I think interesting note about officials, for me anyway, when you're detached from the game, in other words, you're not rooting for either team, you're just watching the game. You don't seem to be as critical of the officials as you are when you're rooting for it. I think it's just one of those psychological things that, you know, it's your team, and I'm not an expert on, you know, how a brain is wired, but for some reason when you root for a team, you always think you get screwed.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing about officiating, I mean, I've never officiated at the registered level, but I've done some adult leagues and some college intramurals where they're just brutal and all they do is scream at the officials, but it's not a job I would want to do. The greatest advice I ever got from an official, I remember going out before a game, you know, the captains meet and both teams, we shook hands with the other team's captains, and the official said, "You're going to play a perfect game tonight, you guys, right?" And we're like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He said, "You're going to play a perfect game, right?" And we're like, "No." And he said, well, I'm not going to call perfect one either. Let's have fun. Let's go. And he's right. They're not going to play perfect, or they're not going to call perfect. We're not going to play perfect. That's just how it is.
Whether it was a good call or not on Strickland, and by the way, he steals the pass. He should have a run-out layup, and there it is. Whether it was a foul or not, the point being that when you're detached, it was a call. That's the way it goes.
And Strickland gets the steal right there and 2 points.
Yep, karma. 59-38. John Glenn now taking their time. 4 out, 1 in. It's to Larrick. He is double teamed on the wing. Will go over to Walker. Walker will drive inside, give to Walls. Walls has it rejected, but picked up by Larrick. Larrick starting to warm up. He has 9. John Glenn back to some pressure defense. Double team on Searles. Over to Strickland. Strickland drives with the left hand. Crosses over left to right. Drives inside. Nice pass inside to right, and he'll go to the line. Drew Wright had a couple of baskets in the second quarter, but has been quiet since then. Nathan Walker will draw his 3rd personal foul. And Drew Wright will go to the line for a pair. He has the 2 field goals. First one's good.
I believe Wright got in early foul trouble.
Yes, he sat quickly in the first quarter. Eric will take a seat along with Walker. I don't think Walker's night is done, but it might be.
6 of 13, Philo at the line, and you're correct about Walker. He might be done.
Second one's also good for Wright. If that's the case, then he exits with just 11 points.
Well, I think John Glenn plays tomorrow against West Muskingum, so that might have something to do with it.
Walls drives the length of the floor, scores the layup. Caden Walls was held scoreless in the 3rd quarter, and he makes his first basket of the second half, 63-40. Cooper Radcliffe, double teamed by Nikolazakis and Bates, will go ahead to Wright. And Wright will make the layup. Philo in the pressure. With the basketball is Walls. Walls picks up his dribble, goes to Nikolazakis, gets some help from Woodard. Woodard, left-handed dribble, bounces over to Walls, being guarded man-to-man by Demetrius Strickland. Back over to Nikolazakis, and Nathan Walker will indeed return to the game.
And that's going to be Strickland's 5th, by the way.
Yes. So Demetrius Strickland will take a seat, and he will exit with 7 points.
Strickland, very good defender for this Philo Electric basketball team. Got a couple, even that last foul was an iffy one, but the official call, and we just had the long conversation about officials, but nonetheless played a nice ball game tonight for the Electrics.
It's Noah Winland to Bexley Woodard, spin dribble, loses it, but Woodard picks it up, then driving inside by Bates is up, no good. Rebounded off to the Electrics. That's Cooper Radcliffe, stolen away by Bates, 3-on-1. It's to Walker, he will tip to Nikolazakis, and he will score the layup.
That was the best play of the night, and such a smart play by Walker. Just a little tip pass like that.
Searles drives, bounces inside to Wright, right up, no good. A rebound, and I think Wright's going to get called for his 4th. Wright trying to bang around.
And you're exactly right about the foul on Wright. Had to throw a little pun in there, Howard.
That's a little pun in Meadowbrook Colt territory.
That's kind of what I do all day in class. I make puns.
That's a little pun in any territory, my man. Free throw coming for Bexley Woodard. He has 5 triples on the night. Now 16 points as he buries the first free throw.
I'll tell you, Woodard's shot form gets better every time I see him. Just got a smooth stroke.
He is a senior. Second one's good. He looks like a guy, and I haven't seen him prior to this year, but he looks like a guy who's really improved every year.
Definitely, and what a jump he made from his junior year to his senior year.
Steal that time by Lane Hall. and he will go to Winland. He will lose the shot, and it will be picked up by Philo. Driving is Cooper Radcliffe, and he will lose it. Tie up. It belongs to who?
The possession error goes toward John Glenn.
Yep. Substitution for the Muskies will be C.J. Dolan, and I think Bexley Woodard will probably be done for the night.
I'm sorry, the possession arrow goes to Philo. I was looking at the bonus.
Bexley Woodard, we think, will be done for the night. He'll exit with 17, the game's leading score.
Now, you know, for a 25-point game, this thing's still pretty intense.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like it's almost kind of too intense for a 25-point game.
Yeah.
There's some bodies flying.
Searles misses the triple but gets his own rebound, puts it back in. He has 13. To the corner for Dolan. He'll drive and then kick over to Bates. He loses it, picked up back by Winland over to Lane Hall. Lane Hall back over to Noah Winland. Winland, right to left dribble, picks it up, goes to Hall. Hall, and then a drive inside off the pass, and then the corner shot. Nope, a corner drive by Winland. He will lose it, and then back to the other corner. Long ball on the way for Hall. Air ball and loose, picked up finally by Philo with 2:25 to go here in the fourth quarter. 67-44, Searles makes another layup. He's making his mark. John Glenn, by the way, about to empty their bench. Let's see if Philo does the same.
Just about 2 minutes.
Yep, 67-46. That's Bates inside, spin dribble, back over to Lane Hall. Hall picks up his dribble, back to Bates. Whistle inside. I think somebody's going to be guilty of a hold or a push or a knock or a something just to slow things down.
Bleakney, that's going to be 1-and-1 for
Lane Hall.
Lane Hall, yes.
They'll have a chance to get on the board. And John Glenn, I think all their starters are now out of the game.
Lane Hall just 7 attempts on here, 33%.
Free throw, no good. Rebounded off to the Electrics, a kick. It will stay with Philo with 1:47 to go here in the fourth quarter. And the game no longer in doubt. And Cade Searles with the basketball. I'm going to guess somewhere along the line he's going to get another shot or two.
Yeah, Searles is going to get a few up. He might even come down here by the free throw line. Not enough room. There it is. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be front iron, no good. Rebounded by John Glenn. If they get it again, guess what? You're going to shoot it again.
Well, you know what I say late in the game. 25-point game. Get the ball up in the air, folks.
That's what you say the entire game. Come on, who are you kidding?
That is true.
67-46. The Muskies taking their time now, just trying to run the clock down. Drive inside and shot up, no good. Rejected by Nelson Cameron. And now Cade Searles will take a seat, so he'll sit down tonight with a pretty decent night, all things considered, of 15 points. His bounce pass will go up. Nowhere to go is John Glenn's Justin Stambush. And then a steal by Nelson Cameron. Cameron will have it rejected. And with under a minute to go, possession will stay with John Glenn. So lots of substitutions on the floor for both teams. And the score is 67-46. Inbounds pass, nearly a steal, but John Glenn will maintain control. And then a blocking foul goes against Philo, so a couple of free throws coming for the Muskies. And, this is where it gets tough to officiate.
Yes, it does. It does. You're exactly right. It's been like this all night. Both teams playing hard.
Yeah.
Ultra aggressive. 21-point game, though, Howard, under minute. It's almost 9:01 p.m. on a Friday. I'm thinking somebody dribbled out. But then again, you got some guys in here that haven't gotten some quality playing time.
Give me my shot.
Yeah.
It's going to be Nelson Cameron's first free throw is good, so he is on the scoreboard with his first point. One more coming for Cameron, the 5'7" junior.
50% shooter on the year.
Second one's good. 55 seconds to go, 69-46, 23-point lead for John Glenn. They have taken care of business here at Philo. Electrics drive inside, up, and it's in.
Is that Cruz Bittler?
Yes, for 2 points.
Must be a crowd favorite here as the crowd erupted.
69-48. John Glenn holds. On top with the ball, C.J. Dolan. Dolan tries to dribble it out. Dribbles right, dribbles left, and then is fouled. Well, I guess you can't dribble it out when your team's being, as you say, ultra aggressive. So a couple of free throws coming for C.J. Dolan, and, it gives him a chance to get on the scoreboard.
Dolan has not made a free throw this year. He's 0 for 2.
Ooh.
So this gives him a chance to make his first career varsity free throw. And he does.
Hey, extra lunch in the cafeteria for him this week. One more.
Sure, his mom been working with him on his free throws, not his dad, his mother.
Okay. She didn't work hard enough as he misses the second one. 70-48 in favor of John Glenn. And Coach Trout off the bench said, hey, let's get it up the floor. And shot no good. Rebounded, loose on the floor, and another couple of free throws coming for somebody. We're not sure who yet. Seventh team foul on John Glenn.
They got Nelson Cameron on that.
Yep, Cameron will have his second.
I love the name Nelson Cameron because it could very easily say Cameron Nelson. He's got both first names and both last names. He made that free throw too, by the way.
All right, free throws up and good. One more coming. 70-49. Shot up. No good. Rebound on the floor. No good. Tapped around. Thrown up. No good. Rebound on the floor. Finally, it's John Glenn. That's going to end this one. Final score 70-49. It is John Glenn over Philo in what was a competitive game. John Glenn, as we said earlier, took care of business, did what they had to do, and they will walk out of here now with a record of 10-7, 8-3 in league play. Philo will drop to 4-12 overall and 4-8 in league play. And for Philo, you got to give their kids credit. They were certainly undermanned. They handled the ball a little bit better after the first quarter. They just didn't make shots, and then I think once the lead got to be too much, it was just a matter that John Glenn just relaxed and just made some shots.
Yeah, bottom line, John Glenn has been the better team all year. They made some shots. They hit a lot of threes tonight, and they turned the ball over less, and they shot a ton more free throws than Philo did. And there was a lot of free throws shot by both teams tonight. But John Glenn, with the win number 2, gets the sweep of the Philo Electrics in the MVL Big School Division.
Yeah. So we will take a break here. When we come back, we'll add up some numbers and give you some final thoughts and get you set up for the rest of the season as best we can tell. So once again, the final 70-49. It was John Glenn over Philo. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
I was sitting in my car and it wouldn't start. I lifted the hood and the engine was falling apart. What would I do? My eyes filled with tears. Then on the radio I heard of West 40 by Pay here, where for a little money down and a little each week, I could have a car, nice, shiny, and sleek. So I walked in the door and I put the money down. Now I got a nice car that I can drive around. West 40 by Pay here will help rebuild your credit. The corner of Dewey and Route 40 in Cambridge, don't you forget it.
West 40 Auto Sales, corner of Route 40 and Dewey Avenue in Cambridge, is home of the guaranteed credit approval, with most loans approved while you wait. Go to their website to fill out an online loan application, west40autosales.com. You'll also find their weekly special listed there.
Our community is a special place, and you work hard to make a living and build a good life for you and your family. It's not always easy. You deserve a local financial partner to be there when you need them most. At Woodsfield Savings Bank, we live, work, and play here. Our cutting-edge technology combined with local decision-making allows us to deliver unmatched personal service. Let us start earning your trust today. Woodsfield Savings Bank. It's personal here.
Now located at 16050 McConnellsville Road in Caldwell, Ohio. Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance Company is a mutual insurance company established in 1896 for the purpose of providing insurance coverage to rural Ohio. They offer a product to meet your insurance need, whether it is for a farm, rental dwelling, home in town, secondary or seasonal dwelling, churches, or mobile home. They partner with Grinnell Mutual Insurance Company to offer liability coverage to package with their patrons Buckeye Mutual policy. Call today at 638-3604 and follow them on Facebook at Patrons Buckeye.
I'm not buying till I check down for.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you'll always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. In business for nearly 60 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at doanford.com.
Your home and your car are likely your two biggest investments. Protecting them from unexpected damage is a prime concern to WB Green Insurance. They are proud to represent Westfield Insurance, a financial service organization that provides insurance products for your home, auto, and business. Sharing knowledge, building trust is Westfield Insurance's pledge to their customers, along with personalized claim service that's fast and friendly. To learn how Westfield can help with your insurance needs, talk to WB Green Insurance today.
Our community is a special place, and you work hard to make a living and build a good life for you and your family. It's not always easy. You deserve a local financial partner to be there when you need them most. At Woodsfield Savings Bank, we live, work, and play here. Our cutting-edge technology combined with local decision-making allows us to deliver unmatched personal service. Let us start earning your trust today. Woodsfield Savings Bank. It's personal here.
Are you paying too much for homeowners insurance? Has your insurance company raised your deductible? Hi, this is John Valentine with Valentine Insurance. Many people can't accurately answer these questions. With many premiums escrowed into mortgages, homeowners don't pay attention to changes to their policies anymore. It's time you visit Valentine Insurance for a true, no-obligation review of your insurance policy. Call 994-1776 or stop by our office at 739 Southgate Parkway in Cambridge.
Welcome back, everyone, to the power plant, the home of the Philo Electrics, where the Electrics fall tonight to the John Glenn Muskies by the score of 70-49. And just a quick review: the freshmen tonight, John Glenn won 52-35. The JVs, John Glenn also won that one 42-23 and 70-49. So a clean sweep for the Muskies here at the power plant tonight for John Glenn. A good night. And as we said earlier, the Muskies now 10-7 on the season. Philo drops to 4-12. Let's go over some individual scoring if we could. Cade Searles led the Electrics tonight. He had 15 points, 2 of 6 free throw shooting. 7 points for Demetrius Strickland, including 2 of 2 free throws. Cooper Radcliffe's had a free throw for 1. Talon Preston had a couple of baskets for 4. Drew Wright had 8 points, including 2 of 2 from the line. Wesley Wilson did not score. Clayton Peterson off the bench had 6. Ashton Ferris did not score. Braden Bleakney had a tray off the bench. Ethan Wickham had a basket off the bench. Cruz Bittler had a basket off the bench. And Will Pettigrew had 1 free throw, and it adds up to 8 of 13 from the free throw line. For the Muskies, they were led tonight by Bexley Woodard. Woodard with 5 triples and 2 of 2 from the line for 17. Also in doubles, Caden Walls had 12, 4 of 8 from the free throw line. Nathan Walker had 11, including 2 of 2 from the line and a tray. Caleb Larrick had 3 baskets and 3 of 4 from the line for 9. Noah Windland had 7, including a tray. Lane Hall did not score but played. CJ Dolan, had a free throw. Also Nelson Cameron with a couple of free throws for 2. Will Nikolazakis had 2 of 2 from the line, a tray and a basket for 7. Steele Bates had a couple of baskets for 4. John Glenn was 16 of 23 from the line tonight. Mike, how about some team stuff?
Shooting the basketball, Philo was 19 of 52. They actually shot 3 more shots than John Glenn. 19 of 52, just hit 36%. John Glenn 23 of 49, a pretty good shooting percentage. 47%. You can win a lot of games, Howard, shooting 47%. Rebounding, Philo actually had the win there. They out-rebounded John Glenn 35-30 and 9-8 on the offensive glass. Turnovers down last time for Philo, 21 in the last game, 17 tonight. John Glenn 12 turnovers, and a big stat in the game. Philo shot 8 of 16 from the line. John Glenn 16 of 23, and they doubled them up on the free throw line, and they outscored them by 8 right there. So I think basically, Howard, it came down to shooting tonight, and John Glenn just shot it better from the three-point range, inside the three-point range, and at the foul line, and that because everything else was almost in Philo's favor except for the turnovers.
So, where do we go from here with both teams, Coach?
Well, Philo, you just keep plugging away. Your kids are playing hard. You got a lot of kids involved in the program. You got a freshman team, you got a JV team, and you got a full varsity unit there. So you just keep plugging away. You keep playing hard. Maybe sneak out a couple more wins here late in the year. John Glenn, I think you got to start thinking tournament now. You're going to get a pretty decent seed, and I think if it's like it's always been, Howard, in the last few years in the Eastern District, if you're the higher seed in the sectional, you're going to play at home.
Right.
So you got to play right now for a home game.
Well, if we're looking ahead, I'm not sure if Tri-Valley is Division I or Division II this year.
They are 2.
They are 2.
Yeah.
So Maysville will be in that Eastern District.
Maysville's going to be your 1.
Yeah. Tri-Valley will be in that Eastern District.
Carrollton's got a good record, and East Liverpool have good records.
John Glenn will be in that Eastern District. Now Sheridan
goes to the southeast.
Right. So that's one team that John Glenn can avoid. So some good games coming up for the Muskies, and a chance to really build their resume for that you mentioned, Mike, that tournament drawing, because I'm thinking they would seriously want a home game.
Yeah, no doubt. They want a home game, maybe 2 home games. Maybe you sneak in and get like a hot, top 8 seed. I'm not sure how many teams in the East District this year go to Athens, but some years it's 2. If you get hot at the right time, who knows? I mean, I saw the game with Maysville. Maysville's undefeated. They played them tight. I saw the game with Tri-Valley. Probably should have won that game with Tri-Valley. So there's no doubt. I mean, who knows what the potential is with this John Glenn team.
Well, we shall find out as the season winds down. But before we sign off for tonight, we want to give a big thanks to a couple of camera operators. That's Cameron Love and Bree Stoneburner, and also our producer tonight, Jaron Aber, and also all the folks back at the studio. You've been listening to high school basketball on NASH Icon, and my thanks to Coach Mike Snively. And Mike, it's been a pleasure the last couple of games working with you. We're going to have to do it again.
I think we are.
Unless the powers at BC, and otherwise I think they're going to be somebody stuck with us.
Couple weeks, I think we're at John Glenn versus Sheridan. Yes, that'll be a big game.
Yep. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We certainly appreciate it, and do keep listening every time games are on the radio featuring area high school basketball. Our thanks to all the great listeners. 70-49 final score. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great weekend. Good night.
This has been a presentation of AVC Sports.